In the autumn of 1949, Saab started planning for the successor to the Saab 29 Tunnan, which had been the main fighter of the Swedish Air Force. A pre-study was ordered by the Air Force in October of the same year. The new aircraft was intended as a daytime fighter, that had to be able to intercept bombers at altitudes up to 18,000 meters. Two ideas were considered, one using swept-back wings, and one using a delta wing configuration. In early 1952, Saab decided to go with a double delta configuration. The Saab 210 Lil Draken was constructed to test the double delta wing configuration. The Saab 210 was 30% smaller than the planned Saab 35 Draken. In April 1952, 3 prototypes were ordered. The first flight took place on October 25, 1955. In January 1956, one prototype reached a speed over Mach 1, while climbing, using no afterburner. In August of 1956, an order was placed by the Swedish Air Force. 90 aircraft of the first serial-produced version, the J-35A, were delivered between 1959 and 1962. 25 of the J-35A were later converted to Sk-35C, the two-seater training version. The J-35A was armed with two 30mm Aden cannons, and was able to carry 4 RB-24 Sidewinder IR missiles. The J-35A remained in service until 1978, although delivery of the B version began in 1962. The J-35B had improved radar and sights, and was able to carry air-to-air rocket pods from Bofors. 73 J-35s were delivered between 1962 and 1963. They remained in service until 1973. The prototype of the J-35D flew for the first time in December 1960. 120 J-35Ds were delivered between 1962 and 1965. The J-35D had a more powerful engine, and could go faster than Mach 2 at high altitudes. It had a slightly different appearance, improved electronics, better radar and a rocket-powered ejection seat. S-35E, a reconnaissance version, began service in 1965. A total of 60 S-35Es were manufactured. The J-35F was manufactured 1965 to 1972. It was equipped with a new radar, a new missile system and an IR sensor. The electronics were improved and new weapons were introduced. It was a major upgrade. Between 1987 and 1991, a total of 66 J-35Fs were modified to J-35J. Electronics and weapons were modernized. Swedish pilots flying the Saab 35 Draken invented what later has become known as the Cobra maneuver. The design of the Draken allowed the plane to enter what the Swedes called super stalls, an uncontrollable stall. Due to this, pilots on the J-35 were trained to prevent super stalls from happening. Out of this training came what is today known as the Cobra maneuver, which the Swedish pilots effectively used in mock dogfights with Soviet fighters over the Baltic Sea during the Cold War. The Saab 35 Draken served in the Swedish Air Force for 40 years, from 1959 to 1999. Denmark was the first nation to buy Draken. The Danish Drakens were different from the Swedish versions. The fuselage was strengthened, to allow the aircraft to carry a higher weapons load, and the fuel capacity was increased by 40%. The version was designated 35XD, and was not equipped with a radar. Finland used Draken as fighters and trainers. In total, 36 Drakens served in the Finnish Air Force, and were used until 1995. The Austrian Air Force used Draken from 1987 to 2005. Austria was the last country to use Draken in active service.